Welcome to K-Stop, Fuse's K-Pop podcast. Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Benjamin, and as always, I am joined by the J to my young K.
You get to
Tina
be on
Zoo.
K? Okay. I'm fine
I
with
just
that.
I like the rhyming.
Jay's my favorite, so that works out for me. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of K-Stop.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
How's everyone doing? We hope you had a great weekend.
Yes. We hope you did too. I was camping. I was away from all the K-pop.
You were camping.
I was camping.
Where?
In Brooklyn. Little did you know, you can go all the way out into Brooklyn by like the beaches, basically.
I was like, you're camping like off the L stop, like in Bedford.
I was camping on the street. Yeah.
I mean, knowing Williamsburg, they probably have something like that. Pay a lot of money and pretend you're camping in the woods.
Exactly. But no, this was action the most. I barely had any service. We made
gosh,
s'mores.
So authentic.
So authentic. That's what really made it authentic. We had a campfire. We played camp games. It was so fun.
Make s'mores.
We did make s'mores. I had so many s'mores. So, yeah, I had a good weekend. Tina's just getting over a cold, right?
No, it was more like a fever. So
Oh, geez.
yeah,
a fever.
Still recovering.
Well, hopefully you're doing okay and don't get me sick,
I won't.
Tina.
I won't cough in the opposite direction.
That's right. But yeah, we of course have a great episode on hand for you guys. I loved last week's episode, of course, where we talked about Vix LR, Hana, Jackson.
That feels so long ago. Wait, that was
wasn't.
not the
that
right
was 2
episode.
weeks ago.
I was like,
Sorry.
I was like, that feels a really long time.
It's about EXO, BAP,
yes,
and somebody else. I need to stop like doing this to myself because I always look it up, but I always look it up too. Oh, we talked about Infinite and Hoya. But let's we got to get some comments in, of course. Thank you guys for sharing any comments. I want to give a big shout out first and foremost to Nana.A, who is at SE. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling
Wait, what
today.
is happening?
I'm having so much dyslexia. SWEMANA. And she wrote, oh my gosh, I can't believe you read my comment. Thank you, #KStop. I listen to the podcast every week and have done it since the beginning. I always look forward to hearing what you think about new releases. Keep up the good work.
She's been with us for 76 episodes?
Something like
that.
78 or 77 now. Yeah, well, so thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Girl.
We really appreciate that. And look, your comments on once again. So please, we love seeing your guys' comments. We love hearing them, and we love checking them out. So thank you so much.
Yes.
We also, like we mentioned, we talked about EXO's Power last week. And Van City K-pop, who was at Rachel_Gray31, said, while I love Power, as EXO gives us another bop, it weirdly reminded me of Cycle Class hype music.
So true.
#KStop. Workout motivation. And I thought, that's pretty spot on.
It has a good rhythm to it.
Right.
For your reps.
Yeah. So I love it. So I'm gonna have to. I haven't tried that one out at the gym yet, so I will have to. Or did I? I can't remember. And then we have we also got a fun comment from Amy, who is TUKTUUJAARTUK. And she said, I was on a holiday and missed K-Stop so much. I can't wait to listen to the latest episode, especially the deep cut section. Infinite/Hoya sad face. And yeah, that was our sad, unfortunate deep cut of last week, where we discussed the departure of Hoya. And if you haven't checked it out, please be sure to, because lots to get into with that particular topic. But yes, like we said, we also we had a lot to chat about last week, where we asked you guys to vote on your favorite release between EXO, BAP, and Geekwan.
Oh yeah,
That was our third
that
one.
was our third one. I was like, what did I talk about? Keep on.
And who ended up getting our number one pick? None other than
BAP.
BAP. They came through, these
Nice.
fans. 94%.
Yeah, their fans are pretty intense.
I think I ended up voting for that one because I really, really liked it.
Yeah, you did love it. I voted for Keekwon. I'm assuming he probably came in last.
He came in second, actually.
Really?
He got well. It's a very. He got 2.9% of the
Wow.
votes, and EXO got 2.7% of the votes. So
Wow,
it was-
EXO came in last.
I know. They must
Well-
have not been paying attention. I guess.
Yeah.
Must have missed out. But that's
Did you?
okay.
So speaking of EXO, I heard that their fans were voted the worst fandom by like some publication, saying that they're the fandom that like hurt the image of the group the most,
Really?
which I think is absolutely hilarious given how successful EXO is.
Where did you read that?
It was on like Netizen, some Buzz or
Oh.
whatever.
So not like not they weren't going against like Directioners and
Oh
Bieber,
no.
Believers
I think
and
this
stuff
was
like that.
well.
Strictly
Actually, I
K-pop.
don't know. I think it was just K-pop. Because I think
How
I think it
interesting.
like I think that'd be hard to measure since it's such a different industry.
Yeah.
But I didn't think EXO would be number one in that category.
I don't really know. I do think the fandom in Korea is different than fandom, how we see it like overseas and stuff like that, because I think I feel like that's mostly referring to like, the Say-Sang fans and things
that's
like
awesome.
that. And because EXO is so popular and so
it's so
pretty.
yeah, the extremes of it. For
Yeah,
sure.
like maybe it's just more so like they deal with more extreme of that
Right.
those sides of fandom,
like
which-
stalker level.
right, which makes not a good image for
Nope, not at all.
the band overall. So that's interesting.
That could have been a good deep cut.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. But we have a very, very good deep cut to unpack on this week's episode. It's very timely.
Oh, yes. But before that, shall we get into our reviews of the
Yes.
week, Tina? Who should we kick off with?
Let's kick off with DAY6, our
Okay.
favies. We weren't able to include them for last week's episode since the release was just past our cutoff mark.
Yes.
But they are back with their September every DAY6 release.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the single is I Loved You, which is such a DAY6 title.
It really is.
I was like, of course. I was like, I'm surprised it took them this long to have a song titled I Loved You.
I loved you. I don't
But,
love you. I loved you.
So as soon as I heard the title of the song, I was like, okay, this is probably going to be something similar to You Were Beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Something very kind of nostalgic, bittersweet, looking back at a breakup, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the song is about. From my takeaway, it's a little bit more of the bitter than the sweet.
Yeah.
First of all, sonically, I liked it. I thought that it had a nice melody, but it wasn't as good as You Were Beautiful. It wasn't as I think, I don't know, like fleshed out, I want to say. It wasn't.
Sure.
It was a little more kind of mellow and safe.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a great kind of like I thought for You Were Beautiful, Jay's bridge was what really took that song like above and beyond, whereas this one was a bit more kind of like, I don't want to say it didn't have its like peaks, but it was a little like,
well, not as dynamic, maybe.
it wasn't. Thank you. That's exactly what I was getting at. It was a little bit more static.
Yeah, I
know?
will say after I listened to it, I wanted to go listen to You Were Beautiful or Congratulations
Yes.
or
That had a bit more kind of like movement to it.
But I did see, I do think it's like we said, classic DAY6. I really do like kind of how it is a bit uplifting on the chorus. The I love you, and the lines get, it gets a little lighter, and I think
It
once
definitely,
again,
it has that kind of growing
Yes,
feeling
it has
to
a very
it.
nice growth to it, and I like the melody line, and I think once again, I feel like I say this basically every month, but Jay, I always want to call him Day,
Day.
Day of Day 6, no Jay of Day 6, does really well in the chorus once again, and I don't know why I always like kind of underrated him.
His voice is just so soothing.
Yeah,
It just carries
And
chorus as well.
I don't know if I just always underrated him as a solo or a singer or what it was, but
Really?
I don't know what I just maybe every time I'm like, oh, there he comes again with
His
the
voice
vocals,
is so soothing.
as if like I shouldn't expect it or something. I don't know what's up with me, but
Yeah.
no, I always really appreciate him. I think he does a great job,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
once again, just like I think it was like that first chorus, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Jay could sing the phone book to me. He could sing like a freaking
Well, hey, they're coming.
prescription and it would sound great.
They're coming to town.
They are, that's
this
right,
month.
that's
Hopefully,
right.
we'll do something fun with them.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd love, I this is so like Fuse is a new office and everything, and like I think it'd be like if they would be down for it. I think like doing an acoustic performance in like our lunchroom would be so fun.
I would,
just like
I would die.
like
I would just die.
I don't know if like the company will prove it, but like I think that'd be so fun. Hint, Fuse. So we'll see. But
right.
what
But
the music video
yes.
though, I wanted to ask you, is this a continuation of the previous?
Like what would I or what can I do?
What, yeah. What
I think it is. I think from what I take away from it is that they actually need to release a Day6 mini series, like a drama mini series, because this is essentially what it is.
Yeah.
And they're all really good at acting, it seems like.
Yeah.
And the production behind this, it pretty much looks like a K-drama. So
Right.
yeah, they should do that.
No, I 100% agree. Everything was very natural, very
Yes.
believable. I didn't want it to. I actually didn't. I really like 2 videos this week. I really like the video. 2 of the videos this week.
Oh, okay.
There's one I'm not so thrilled about,
Okay.
but I really like this
wait.
because I felt like there was some good. I felt the friendship. I felt the brotherness of it. It just
Yes.
it was so believable and
Right,
nice,
right, right.
and the obviously the love lines were happening. and
It was a
whatnot.
little confusing. So let me
Once
know your
again, they're
thoughts.
always confusing.
Let
Why
me
are
know
they-
your thoughts. I think the girl likes Young K,
Yes.
and then Jay I think is her friend because they're just like hanging out and like sharing homework and whatever. So that's
Right.
not a love line.
Anymore, because didn't we think at first Jay was the one that was dating her in
Yeah,
the
it
last
was a little
video?
confusing.
I think
Yeah.
I
But
think so.
I
There's
think
a twist.
I think he's like solidly in the friend zone. I think.
Yeah.
And then so she likes Young K, and I think Sunjin is also like smitten with her.
Mm.
But then Wonpil just kind of looks at Sunjin looking at her, and he doesn't like it. But like Sunjin's his boy, so he's like, all right, let me be the wingman and like, support him in this, even though I think has a history with a girl.
Right.
And
he's a little heartbroken.
and then the Magne, the youngest one, he's just off doing God knows what. I think he just like doesn't care about anything, and he has like little girls just chasing after him, like his little fan club. He's like this bad boy, or he doesn't care. That's what I took away from the video. And that was like a combination of both last month's video and this video.
Yeah.
So like it seems like the girl is chasing after Young K and he has no interest. Meanwhile, Jay's like doing his own thing. He's like trying to woo like the coffee shop girl or something.
Oh yeah.
That was the cutest scene. He didn't have his glasses on. I was like, he looks really cute.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, I need them to expand on that storyline.
Maybe next video.
I'm so not used to Jay like being off to the side and like not mattering. I don't like that. But
Hey, maybe they'll all like be strangely connected in the end.
I think so. It'll have to be, right? I was a little confused about when Young K was sitting down outside the little corner store with I keep forgetting how to say his name. Dongwoon. I always forget. I always get his name confused with Dongwoon from fucking Beast. But
wait, is this Dowoon? DOWWOON?
Okay, yeah.
Dawon.
So he gave him like an egg or something, and this was after he saved him from getting like knocked out at the arcade.
Yeah.
I don't really understand if that's like a cultural thing or what.
He had like a bit of a busted lip. Did you see that? So
Oh.
I thought maybe it was like kind of like a joke, like
was the egg
use it as
supposed
like
to do something?
like an ice pack or something, or like is it cooling? I have no idea.
I wasn't sure if that was just a cultural thing. Where
I think it might be. I feel like I've seen it before. I could be wrong. Please let us know if
that
it's
was lost on me.
It was lost on me too. But I thought that's what it was. If anything, but I really did like that scene too, because it just felt once again very real, very. It was very friendly.
Believable. Yes.
Like I thought they did just such a. I don't know. It just. There was nothing where I was like, oh, cringeworthy.
Right.
Like,
no, they're really good at keeping the corny to a very. They're not a corny group.
Right. Like he could be like swoony and everything, but like no. Like it was like really nice. And especially at that last scene with what it was. Right, it was not Wonpul. It was
Sunjin?
Yeah, Sunjin.
He was running after her.
Yeah, and like I was just like, this is so nice. I was just like, and it's not like cringy or anything like that.
Yeah. It was and so I noticed. So Wonpul pointed her out when she got onto the bus and be like, "Yo, man, like." That's her. Like, go get her. So he like runs off the bus, Sunjin, and chases after her. I'm assuming he's about to like go confess like his feelings for her. But then, did you catch the keychain thing?
Yeah.
So everyone's talking like, oh, like Wonpul and the girl must have a history because he was holding the keychain in the video and then he found it on the ground.
Oh, see, you know what I thought that was? I thought that was a flash forward. To that moment, because that's what I thought was them connecting that moment, because I was like, what is this weird keychain he's holding or whatever, and I thought that was that connected that moment, that he's gonna hold on to it and keep thinking of her, or he held on to it and he's still thinking about her even though he might have lost his chance or whatever.
Right.
That's what I took it as. But now I think about it, maybe that doesn't make what there were no flash forwards or flashbacks in this whole whole video.
So I'm a little confused. I thought this was the keychain from somewhere in his past, and then he didn't realize that maybe that was the same girl. Maybe it was like a child. I don't know. I just don't know how it ended up like on the ground on the floor of the bus.
Right.
If he had it, so he must have had it and given it to her.
At some point.
I don't know.
But
how would he not? Well, the thing is, maybe he did know who she was, and and then he was willing to let that go and let his friend make his move.
Aww.
And his friend and Sunjin obviously wasn't aware of their past. Like this is all, what's the word? Speculative, right?
Oh yeah, so maybe they did, maybe he's just playing coy, and that, they did have something going on, and he used to have her keychain, all those things, but it didn't work out, and they moved on, and
But then that keychain just appeared out of nowhere.
Well, it was clearly with the girl still, but she left it on the bus that day.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like,
Yeah. Oh my God! Like this should have been a freaking drama series.
Is this how Korean dramas are?
Yeah.
Do they,
I forget you're not about that life. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, do they have these like weird hints and clues to like what the past is?
I would say no. Korean dramas are a bit more tacky and over the top and melodramatic. This like DAY6 is good at being subtle with things.
Okay.
Not all. I don't want to say all K dramas are like that, but a lot of them are really over the top.
Okay.
Like this one would make a way better K drama series.
Okay.
But overall, I think I personally like the song a lot. I don't think it's as good as I Smile, which I really liked. I thought the verses of that were a lot better. Yeah. So I think this ranks kind of middle of the catalog for me.
It's higher up there for me just because automatically when I heard it, I wasn't like, it was just classic Day, the classic DAY6 I know and love.
Right, that's true. Okay, maybe like above average.
I am really excited to see kind of what the next step, because one, I'm finally invested in this story. I remember last video we were a little confused and like needed to kind of talk things out. Now it seems like we're still confused, but things are coming together a little more clearly. And I thought the acting was so good to the point that I just didn't want it to end. So
Word.
I am excited.
Yes.
Maybe I'll ask them for some spoilers if we get to do something when they're in New York. Be like,
All right.
Jay, who is the coffee lady?
Tell us. Yeah, like he looked very, what's the word? Glamorous and shiny and sparkly in this video.
He was glowing.
He because he didn't look, I don't know. I like his nerdy look, but he didn't look nerdy at all. He was just, yeah, he looked fly.
Fly, baby.
But
Cool.
But yeah, let us know what your thoughts on this. Thoughts are on.
What the world?
What your thoughts are on this release and other releases this week. Again, still recovering.
Yes.
Hit
I
us
have no
up on
excuse.
Twitter, #KStop. I'm at hey_Tina with 3 A's.
And I'm Jeff __ Benjamin.
With 2 underscores.
Stop. You're making fun. I was just thinking this again. I was like, I did that last time. I can't do it this time. With 1 J.
With 1 J.
2 J's. Yes. All right, moving right along.
Moving
Who's our
right
second
along.
release, Tina?
Let's move to the angelic Yoona of Girls' Generation, who released a single for SM Station.
Yes.
Which is basically like random releases, right, from SM artists, essentially.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need. Is it still weekly? I can't even.
That's the
really
thing. I don't
keep
think it is.
track.
It's very sporadic now, and sometimes they have like collaborations with non-SM artists,
There
and
is
or
that.
international artists are really random.
They've started putting out. Yeah, it's almost like a platform for other artists, but which I get, but I don't get. Or I mean, SM's like YouTube page has a lot of followers, which is great for, I guess, an international act, but they're there because they're fans of the K-pop music, not like soul music or whatever, you know.
Oh,
that they put
yeah.
on. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about
It's
it.
almost like an SM radio station, like an SM grab bag, and I mean, it has a good. I mean, if you really like SM artists, they really do go deep. Like they get members of groups and they collaborate with each other, and it gets like all complicated.
Oh yes, no, and I think it's a great idea. You know, it's definitely a great branding thing. You know, the fact that I think SM knows it's a strong brand and people are a fan of that label. You
Absolutely.
know, but here we are. Yoona, who has her second SM Station release.
Yes.
Remember
last time we talked about the Doksugun walkway or something.
Bridge.
Yeah, it was
like
very boring. I was like, Yoona, girl, you did exactly what I thought you were gonna do. It was so boring. Like, let's just skip around. And I was like, I can't. This time she released. It's like When the Wind Blows. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah. When
I was about to say When the Earth Blows.
When the Earth blows.
When the wind blows.
Uh-huh.
And I heard the title, and I was like, oh God, this is gonna be the bridge song part 2.
A bridge song.
But I was pleasantly surprised.
Hey.
I like the melody. It's still very Yoona-esque because she's very angelic, very, quintessential kind of, what's the word without, I don't want to, she's very feminine by Korean standards. And,
that
she's
word is so interesting to me.
Feminine.
When I hear it.
In the traditional Korean standard, I would say. Very pretty, very angelic, and very kind of soft and like soft spoken.
Sure.
And the song was, it was nice. I thought she showed a bit more personality in this release.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't watch her dramas. I know she also acts. I don't feel like she's probably the best actress that shows a lot of like emotional range in her acting. So it was like interesting for me to see her play a role in a video that was very kind of nostalgic and kind of like longing for a past relationship.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Right, because she's usually kind of like the lead, strong, female lead usually wanted or whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I didn't get this, and this is the other music video that I really liked this year or this week because
I was wondering if this was the second one. I was like, is it the other one? Okay. Oh man, that
You'll
means you
find-
didn't like the video for the third artist.
I have some thoughts.
You have so. Oh, I cannot wait.
But no, I admit I started off this listen not sure about where this was going. The whole kind of "you are my star" line didn't hit me as well as I wanted it to.
It was a little corny. I was like, when she said it, I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was like, Yoona, girl, you didn't have to do that.
I got nervous, and then I got nervous with where it was going.
Oh yeah, no, because that was the opening line, right?
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, if this is all in English, I'm leaving.
Oh yeah, no. And you know, not a knock to her or anything, but like it didn't sound. It did not sound natural, even to a point where she sounded comfortable with it.
Listen, if Jessica's a native English speaker and her single had a random English line and even that sounded weird, this just did not need to happen.
Right. So I got nervous when I first heard it. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I don't know. I usually do like her voice in Girls' Generation songs, but then there was something about just that opening line that it just kind of like, ooh, I like had to like kind of like tilt my head a little. But the more it went, I 100% agree. It really grew on me. I really like found it very comforting. Like after like watching that video, I watched the video and the song together, and like I was just so warmed and comforted, even though it was a little sad and I was feeling lonely.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was comforting sad.
It was. It was not like I want to like jump or anything like that. Not that I was ever gonna do that.
Right.
But it was just it was nice, and I don't know. I really enjoyed their chemistry. The artists or the
it was
the
believable.
actors.
They were really great.
Very believable.
Right.
And I thought Yoona didn't even. She looked almost. It wasn't even like. I don't. What am I trying to say? She looked a little more real, I think, too. It felt a little like wasn't so done up. I felt like I saw like some wrinkles in her eyes, God forbid.
Yeah. She was very much hanging. I mean, the whole thing was just her hanging out with him, right?
Yeah.
It was like her hangout outfit. Like she was wearing her house clothes.
I know. And sometimes like a little too cute, but like I still like loved it,
Yeah.
like the shooting each other with the fake guns.
I was about to say that was cute. That was a very like Yoona thing to do,
yes,
100%. Like, oh my God, I'm so flirty. Like I thought that she was flirty and like, affectionate without having it be too much. And I don't really see her as someone being very like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I could see her being, I 100% agree. So I thought
she
it was.
She just definitely showed more facets of her personality and like what she can do acting wise.
Yeah. And there were a lot of those common visual tropes that we see in like a lot of K-pop relationship videos, falling asleep next to each other, and both their heads are laying down in the middle of a book, and I'm like, oh God. But it never got to the point where I was like gagging, I was oh, this is so cheesy.
I thought it was done tastefully. What else did I want to say? I thought I like the little cute quirky moments, like the smiley face balloons, even though that's not a new thing, but I thought that fit Yoona well. Like cute, nothing over the top. I like the shirt that said sorry on it. Like little tiny moments like that I thought really made a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, there were a lot of subtle moments. And I think that also got me into the mood too, like a little more. Like I got more invested because I was looking for these like sort of subtle things.
It was and like the spilled cereal, the Fruit Loops.
Yeah, there were.
I don't know why that hit me so hard.
It hit me too. I was like, the spilled Fruit Loops.
Spilled milk.
I know. I don't know what it was. I think you just ended up getting it was a really beautifully shot.
The video was produced and shot very well. Yeah, I agree.
And I was kind of wondering the whole time what the difference was between her, like the lighter sort of. She's on the phone and she's by herself on the building or something. I was wondering what there was like a kind of a color difference between the two different scenes. I kept wondering what it was going to be, and I was like, oh, she's not with him in the end. But I thought I got invested.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I was reading that this is the first time she's like written on a track.
Oh, she wrote part of this?
She wrote part. She
Oh
worked
my
with 10
God.
Centimeter, who's now a solo act.
Right,
You know
right,
them?
right.
They just put out a really good
Wait,
album.
isn't that the
actually.
person that collaborated with her on the Bridge song?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they must be tight or something.
Yeah.
But but yeah,
Yeah, no, I
was pretty impressed. You know, I could see you know, it's not the most moving, gorgeous, incredible, iconic,
Right.
you know, moving piece of music I've ever heard in my life. But I thought for someone who is just starting to, you know, get into music production
Right.
and writing and things
no,
like
it's
that,
very impressive.
it's
yeah.
really impressive.
And
So
and you have to admit, I feel like in the Korean music industry, there are so many kind of nice ballads like this.
Yeah.
They all kind of just
right, dime
are
a dozen.
cut from the same cloth, and I don't remember them. I think this one I would actually listen to again and again. I think this is a good song.
I think this and then the recent Day6 single I would kind of put into like a mix together in the new
Yeah.
10 Centimeter
Yes,
album, you know.
yes.
I highly
A
recommend.
rainy
so.
day or Sunday kind of
Yeah.
soothing playlist.
Oh my gosh, or yeah, I listen to this kind of or like while I'm going to sleep. I always put
Yeah.
on this kind of music.
Yes.
So yeah, I think Yoona once again you
Yay.
you brought it to the table
Yeah.
and we
I never thought I'd say that.
Yoona, you brought it,
If
girl.
this were like
the bridge song.
the bridge,
just
yeah,
kidding.
if this were
That was
2
called-
years
I think it
ago.
was Stonewall Walk. I looked it up. It was
Yes.
let me oh wait, I lost it.
Stone Bridge.
Stonewall Walkway. Dok Sugyung. However you pronounce it. Sorry. But Yoona, yeah, girl.
Doksugon, I think.
Dok Sugyung.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the video you didn't like. Wow, that's not the best segue into this
Yeah,
because I do
jeez.
like this song. The video was questionable. So we are speaking about Pentagon for the second time on the show. First time we spoke about Gorilla, which we were
Their debut.
which we were
yeah.
not super impressed with. Right, if I
No.
remember correctly.
And no, I think okay, right. So Pentagon's had an interesting
Jeff was like,
career.
no.
Yeah. Well, no, we did. We and you know, I think it's kind of been a theme, you know, and basically every time we talk is that, you know, every act and every release needs a reason to exist, right? So I've been keeping up with Pentagon because I'm just strangely curious about them, and their releases weren't hitting me until their last release before this. It was called oh gosh, actually this is terrible. I don't even remember the name of the single, but they had a really strong album. They had the song called Beautiful. That was really, really nice. The music video had like a circus twin theme to it. It was interesting to the point where I said, okay, I see something unique with them.
Right.
Then they had a really interesting thing happen where one of the leader, Hui,
Right.
he see, I'm learning about how to, you know, typically if I was just being an American, I'd be like, who I, that guy who I,
Yes,
see, I'm
no,
being smarter with my
you're doing
pronunciation.
great.
Hui produced a song that was used on the Produce 101 show, and it went to #1, a huge hit. I actually saw them. The winning band, perform it at KCON. It's called Never.
Yeah.
A really, really great EDM song. It's really good. I still listen to it all the time. It's called
that's
Never.
dope.
And he started getting all this attention, being like, wow, who knew that this Pentagon guy, you know, could produce so
Right.
well, and much less a #1 single. Why isn't his group popular? And then
so
I
then
think
more
Cube,
eyes kind of,
Well,
went
yeah.
on them after
well,
that.
more eyes are on them. And then Cube was like, okay, you get to produce this new single. And he produced it to okay results, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
We're talking about this new song.
The new song,
Okay, it's called Like This.
Like This,
Mhm.
yeah.
And he
And
produced it to okay I love how Cube is so like desperate for money and attention and success now that they're just like, run with it.
I mean, why not? I do think I always feel like if an artist has an opportunity to put themselves in the music, why not? Like I totally am
can
like
I
called
guess
for it.
which part sonically you didn't like?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to assume that the chorus is fine, but you did not like the random rapping in the middle and that
Wow.
transition into the second verse that was sudden, that was like back to the ballad version.
Tina, you know me so well.
I mean, that part was just very uncomfortable.
Well, right. So like I was thinking about it. I was like, I feel like, well, I know that you're a fan of it, or you've been a
I do.
You're mostly
I mean,
a fan.
I like parts of the I think I like parts of the video and parts of the song, but I don't like everything about both.
Because I was basically trying to
And
put
my
it
standards are
together.
also very low. So.
I was basically trying to figure out, why don't I like this as much as everyone else? Because I'm like, Tina likes it. I was like, I've heard a lot of great things from other people. So I was like, why don't I like it? And I think it's because Hui, who's a singer dancer, he, I think, can make really good songs. Like Never is a really good singer song, or there's a lot of singing in it. There's not a lot of rapping, but I think Pentagon has sort of angled itself as this, like, one of the more aggressive or hip hop
Right.
Boy
That's
bands.
what they debuted with.
Right. So I think it feels to me like he got tripped up in trying to do what he does well, but then also like, oh right, I have to remember we're rappers, so I also got to throw in this. Like, aggressive part.
It felt like an afterthought for sure.
Right, and I think that's actually quite unfortunate, because like, even like, I think about 17 with their last single, where they did something a little different, and I don't even think that song really has any rapping in it. The Don't Wanna Cry song, the EDM one.
Not really. I mean, but
it
wasn't a rap breakdown.
No.
It was they rapped as part of the verse.
Right, like, or it felt like it worked. It was a way of kind of changing things up a bit on that end.
It was integrated a lot more smoothly. That's for sure.
It was a smoother integration for sure. But no, yeah, I thought that was like, oh, like that was a smart way of doing it versus this that kind of, I agree, it did kind of feel like an afterthought, and I was really rooting for them with this one.
Yeah.
And I think
I can just imagine we're both like sitting there listening to it. We're like, this kind of jams, and then all of a sudden the rap breakdown comes out. I'm like, we're both just stopped. Like that, it's like the record scratch.
Yeah.
Like, what am I listening to?
throw my headphones at my computer. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that was a really bad transition. It just was. I just felt like it almost felt like they edited the song incorrectly, and they dropped like a part from a different song, and they just like plopped it in there.
Yeah, like I love that you knew that's where I was gonna have my issues.
Yeah, I was like,
too.
I knew that had to be it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know why, and to get into the video too, it didn't feel like it had a lot of purpose in it. Just like, I thought there were a lot of visually
random.
fine scenes, but nothing that stuck out to me entirely. Right. I can barely I remember like a shopping cart. Was there a shopping cart?
Yeah, they tipped over like a shopping cart of, I think it was apples.
Wow.
It was either apples or tennis balls. I want to say
boundary
apples.
pushing.
Yes. It's metaphoric. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it?
But okay. So I will say what I liked about the video was that gave me major old school boy band vibes with the choreography, where they were all just in formation and doing like very kind of like obvious boy band moves, which I liked. And it wasn't like overly aggressive kind of, I don't know. It was definitely corny. I think that's what I kind of liked about it. They kind of took me back. But yeah, now that I think about it, the video didn't really make any sense.
Well,
it was
yeah,
like 1 second they were in a field and they were running toward nothing.
Yeah, I just like.
Then there
were a lot of like weird influences
they were on
I saw
that
from
one
other groups.
rooftop that every boy band uses.
Yes,
that they were dancing on top
they
of.
were.
They have one rooftop in all of Seoul.
They truly do. It's amazing that they all use it. I feel like we saw Up Tension up there and 17 up there and everyone. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Like I felt like there were lots of times the formations looked cluttered and it was like too many things going on.
A little sloppy.
I don't know. It just, and once again, I didn't feel like, just like how the song wasn't so cohesive, the video didn't feel cohesive, and I wasn't, especially because I really loved the DAY6 and Yoona videos. Watching that, I was like, man, this just does not hook me the way. Not that every K-pop
thought you were
video.
Gonna go 3 for 3 this week.
I thought, not that every K-pop video needs to be this, storyline where I'm invested in the characters and the love and everything like that, but. Barely
at least
any K-pop.
thematically have it be, like you said, more cohesive.
Yeah, and this one it just felt like they were just switching from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know, but
They're like, we don't have time. This looks good. That looks good. Let's just put it together.
Basically,
and then we're going to export it and render it. And here we are.
well, they were basically like, yep, put a filter on it. You know, like, yep, you know, oh, carts running,
Yes.
rooftop. It all sounds right.
Yes. Okay, fine. Now that we're unpacking this, it's pretty bad. But I think my standards were so low that I was like, hey, this song kind of goes. I like it. Minus the rapping. It's a good song. And I actually listened to the EP or the mini album, and it's pretty good.
I think I started and it wasn't leaving the impression I wanted it to be to have. But I did really like I don't know. I'm gonna throw it out there. Everyone check out their Ceremony EP, Critical Beauty. Well, this is the last one.
He's promoting a different album. He's like,
Critical
don't
Beauty.
listen to this one.
I think it's interesting because it's also interesting too that they called it Demo 1. I think the album's called Demo 1. Almost like this is like them experimenting with something new. But I'm like, if it's really a demo, do something else or like really go there. I'm clearly just, I don't know why I'm rooting for them, but I am. And yeah, I need to listen.
We always like, we're so used to Cube artists being fresh and aggressive and just having that X factor. Both Beast and 4 Minute, I feel like the fact that they weren't part of the big three companies really fueled them, and they were driven to become just as good as, you know, their fellow idols.
Yeah.
And they were very consistent for the most part, and they always deliver quality albums and quality concepts, and it's just rough seeing what Cube is now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, even that last Hunna video we were talking about just didn't have the same, even though we like the music, didn't have the same kind of visual impact that we kind of expected from her. Yeah. So, and I mean, the same thing with the girl group, with CLC, with the
oh my God. Now that you're just reminding me of like all these, but the budget must be so tight.
Things are not looking
like
good,
all these artists. If you did not tell me that they were Cube affiliated artists and you show me their videos, I'd be like, you are lying.
You are lying.
There's no way.
But hey, you can always turn things around. I thought JYP was down and out for a bit.
That's true. There was a moment where I was like,
JYP,
like, rest in peace to JYP Entertainment, because they are not gonna recover.
No, it looked like Cube. It looked like FNC. It looked like all of them were gonna kind of pass them up, and then JYP just came out flying. Yes. Now it's
that's true. You can't ever write off the Asian soul.
Oh my God! I thought you were just about to say the Asians.
I was Asians.
Like, okay, Tina.
That too.
No one was gonna do that.
Don't you underestimate the Asians.
It's like also they're all Asian. I don't know. I don't know where I thought that was going, but hilarious. Yeah. So who gets your vote for this week, Tina? Did I ruin your Pentagon choice?
No. The Pentagon was gonna be the first one. I'm gonna go with DAY6. Yoona's a close second.
I think I have to go DAY6 as well. I mean,
Woo!
Yoona. Yeah, I kind of talked about my issues with it, but yeah. Overall, just I don't know, I felt like it was a very warm and fuzzy fall episode. fall slate of reviews.
Indeed. It was a very fall, yeah.
You know?
It's only going to get better from here, the best season.
It's still summer. What are you talking about?
You crazy.
You crazy.
Well, you seem like a summer person.
Summer boy. All right. Calm down. Now it's time for some charts. Where we take a look at the top 5 K-pop songs on US iTunes right now. I think last week it was last week I think it was a very good mix of EXO and BAP and all those things. So let's see how this week turns out. Coming in at number 5 this week is, wait a minute, just give me a second, is Eyes, Nose, Lips by Taeyang. What the world?
What?
This is go on sale or something? I don't know because I bought it.
Wait, are you? What?
Oh, he performed it on some TV show in Korea, and like, But I'm really surprised to see that above like Coco Bop and like Not Today.
Well, you know, Taya always still got that juice.
I'm so surprised by that. And once again, continues to show that K-pop fans know Korean television. That is bizarre. Okay, anyway, I'm very shocked by this. I'm like shook a little bit. Number 4, I Loved You by DAY6. Yay.
Yay!
Number 3.
I loved you.
I loved you. Number 3, sorry. Honeymoon by BAP is like a honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. And that's how it goes. I forgot for a second.
What?
I'm really bad at remembering, like, hooks.
Jeez, you don't forget a hook like that. Number 2, here's a surprise. Gashina by Sunmi.
Nice.
Still slaying. My
Nice.
goodness gracious, girl. I'm so happy for it. I don't know. I think it's also doing pretty well in the U.S. In Korea too, but seems to be connecting in the U.S. And number 1 for our second week, it's Power.
No.
You don't like it, Tina?
No.
Come on.
Whatever.
I still like it. It's very fun.
Womp womp.
Well, speaking of iTunes and such like that, we actually talked. This is almost kind of bringing back a topic that we talked about in the past, but we when BTS's Wings album came out at the end of 2016, we kind of had I thought a really good discussion, and a lot of you guys had a lot of comments about it, about how BTS could really have a big impact with their Wings album. But now they have a new album coming out, and I feel like it's about to have an even bigger impact as a result.
It's gonna implode.
So yeah, I mean, so I thought it'd be like really good to just kind of once again have an awesome conversation, kind of preview, just talk about it a little more. That album, that previous album, Wings, biggest first week sales ever for a K-pop album in America, 16,000 copies in its first week. Incredible. I think it ended up doing another like 6,000 in its second week. Like they just did so, that obviously led to a really successful tour.
I haven't listened to Wings in a while.
I need I gotta get back. I've been thinking about Spring Day for some reason a lot recently.
Which I love.
Yeah, it grew on me. It did.
Can't believe it had to grow on anyone. Such a good song.
But Spring Day also, even with the repack and everything, Spring Day, that one like nearly charted on like the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. There was so much already kind of going for BTS, but since that time they had a really successful tour. They obviously had this really big moment at the Billboard Music Awards, where that was just a big moment of visibility, big moment of like mainstream notoriety. And just since then, I feel like, and I don't know if it's just, lots of media companies taking advantage of, this very active fan base. I
think that's very clear.
We've been there since the beginning, people. We've been there since, I remember BTS, when did they debuted in 2013. I remember seeing them at KCON 2014, or was it 2013? Just, I remember being like, I need to watch this band. But anyway, that's just, I always have to put that out there. But I just feel like this new album is just going to be huge. Like, there's not only, I feel like we've been seeing kind of a lot of media coverage about BTS, just like in general, because like we said, I think these, outlets realize that this fan base is really excitable. But how many outlets do you think are going to just, when they see, BTS released a new music video, let's get a post up, like so many casual places I think are going to bring it up. Also, don't even forget the fact that they have a song with the Chainsmokers on the new album. It's called Best of Me.
I mean, everyone in this office knows I love the Chainsmokers.
We love them as musicians.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a good move on their part. I think it only makes sense for, for BTS, who's such a virally successful band internationally, to link up with
I know where you're going
the
with this.
current day's like biggest hit maker.
Right.
Like biggest hit maker in the sense that's most radio friendly and the most return on investment or something. You know what I mean?
I didn't think of it like that, and that is so true. Chainsmokers at this point,
Like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, anything they touch, like their songs consist of like 13 notes total ever, but they use different combinations and somehow make a whole new ass song.
that is so.
And it like goes top 5, whatever, top 2, I don't know.
That is so true. At literally, you know, they're at this point the Chainsmokers are almost just kind of like, you know, easy listening for radio, for top 40 radio,
Right.
because
They are a very risk-free investment, I think, with Chainsmokers, and I think that BTS are so versatile that they can work with someone who doesn't seem as versatile like Chainsmokers
and
make it into something really dope.
interesting. Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think of it like that, but I really like how you put that. That's really
Like, I'm really
Well,
intrigued by this, even though they're both like very obvious options, but I feel like what they would come up with won't seem as obvious. It might be something, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, I almost said One Direction. I love Chainsmokers, but they're a little bit kind of like one-dimensional, right?
Sure, I agree.
BTS, they're not.
Right. Yeah.
So what they come up with, I'm very intrigued by.
Right. No, I 100% agree. And I think, I think, you know, it was, I can finally spill the tea. I had heard about this track for a while, for a couple, I know, insider gossip but there were a lot of U.S. labels talking about this song.
Right.
And I can only imagine, and the fact that, you know, we've talked about this so many times, but like so many US K-pop collaborations that were just way too random or did not have that impact. And I never heard the excitement I heard about a collaboration like this except until this Chainsmokers BTS thing. So much to the point that, you know, labels I didn't even think had BTS on the radar now have BTS on the radar.
Right.
So it's really interesting to kind of, or I think it's a really smart move on their part to kind of take, sort of that quintessential, easy to work with, you know, so, you know, status quo of the moment sound makers and, you know, put the BTS spin on it. So I'm really curious. Although I did hear that it's just maybe the rap line with it. On that song, like that it might just be Rap Monster, J-Hope, Suga, and maybe Jungkook, but to be determined. I think it'll still be BTS.
You mean on that, just for that track?
Just for that track.
But it's not the whole band.
Maybe it's still. That's what I read. I don't know. So kind of still be determined how it could all work out. But I'm really curious if it's going to be in English, if it's going to be in Korean and English. Is Andrew from the Chainsmokers going to sing on it? You know, like, so.
I'd be down for that, I guess.
He's the one who sings on Closer.
Right.
Hey, it was really good, nice and nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I will never get sick of that song. I actually like his voice, so.
I still don't hate. I liked Closer since
the minute I listened to it. I was like, this is a bop. I'm never gonna take this off repeat.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. Also, that Chainsmokers.
Also, check out the remixes for Closer. That's also on Spotify. Also dope.
If you use Spotify.
Yes, most people do, Jeffrey.
I know it's true. But no, And yeah, I mean, I can literally sing every Chainsmokers song over every other
Paris,
Chainsmokers song.
also dope.
Which also sounds just like Closer. Which
Roses,
also sounds like,
also dope.
Which also just sounds like something like this. Which also sounds like.
Man, I gotta go back and re-listen to everything now. This is what always happens.
Everything Chainsmokers.
New York City's dope.
I do like New York City. That one's a good one. And Don't Let Me Down is like probably their most unique track, which they won a Grammy for.
I like that one.
You know, because that's the one where they slightly changed up their formula.
Right, and I was like, I don't like it.
And it didn't totally connect.
I was like,
But they won a Grammy for it, so.
Of course they did.
But no, I think you know, not even just looking at the music either. You know, and we don't know what the single is yet. I have a feeling it's gonna be the song called DNA, because I think there's an intro track and then the second song is called DNA. They just released a track list yesterday or 2 days ago. So I have a feeling it's DNA, which is intriguing. But also. And I'm kind of curious what you think about this too, because they set up this Amazon pre-order, right, for North American fans, so that if fans want the physical album, it will count on the charts here. And because before, with K-pop, and this is why we look at iTunes every week, because basically K-pop fans, if they want the music, they need iTunes, or they need to download it digitally, and iTunes is sort of like the only go-to source at this point.
Right.
But here's a band who's realizing that maybe it's worth it for us to make the physical copy of the album available to fans, so that we aren't losing out on any potential sales.
So before, when fans ordered physical albums from like Yes Asia from Korea, it did not count obviously on the charts here.
No, it would have been like a Korean sale because they're imported.
Right.
So it wouldn't like want to get double counted or whatever.
Okay.
So I think that's really interesting. Like, because do you think there are that many fans buying physical albums?
I do.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's something unique about K-pop, because they put a lot of emphasis on packaging. It's like a whole experience,
right? And
a whole branding and a whole concept. It's not like here where it's just like a jewel case CD or some
right.
shit, and it's like you don't see a lot of like effort and like funding for how you package an album, whereas I think K-pop is such a visually based industry that they also put that same effort into their packaging, their product packaging. They understand that like people like they
obsessed.
see things, they like buy things with their eyes, you know what I mean? It's like you can make something just look great and people will want it.
That's a good point. I mean, especially if you're one of the biggest bands right now, to kind of make this play, it seems smart in my opinion. And I was just curious if you think there would be enough interest in that, because obviously people aren't buying it for the CD. They're not going to plop the CD into their car. They're buying it strictly for the packaging.
Like I just remember, this was years ago, obviously, but one of my good friends, she bought like every piece of Big Bang merchandise, and I'm saying like every piece. Like her room had a shrine. And it was like from the very first release, like Big Bang's first singles album that had like We Belong Together. Ooh. She had that physical copy. Like they just like the feeling of having it.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say, K-pop albums, they're beautiful. They're such great packages. I've never bought one, but I get, them sent to me or gifted or whatever. And I've
clearly held them and
and I love them, and I do agree there's something very special about that, and I thought that was so interesting when like they were like, we are making a play to say, North American fans, we know you want this, or they were basically saying, we think you want this, we're gonna make this available to you. And I was like, and it almost, because I wonder if they thought that they were losing something by not doing that, by having fans import it. Maybe there were so many imports that they obviously would know the numbers more than us. But I wonder if they have some type of research or something that shows like how many people from America, North America, whatever, Europe, who were importing the CD to the point that they're like, shoot, we gotta have a more official way of doing this.
We're losing out.
Yeah, and I did so I did this piece for Billboard about the business of physical CDs, especially with BTS, and BTS also has a distribution with it's called The Orchard. They're like kind of an independent distributor via Sony Music, and that deal is strictly in place to say, if Target's like, hey, I want 1,000 BTS albums, the Orchard makes sure they have the inventory.
They're like the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, wow, this is really like, you don't just sign up for these deals for like that's a lot of money, and there's a lot of like stuff involved. You don't just like do this for like the media play. I think there must be something here. So much to the point that I wonder, where this album could go. I mean, it sucks it's coming out it comes out literally this Monday, but they don't get the full week of charting and everything. But I think there's exciting stuff
next
afoot.
Week's episode's gonna be lit.
It is gonna be lit.
And we're gonna have Brooke on here, of course.
Oh yeah, Brooke's the BTS
She
lover.
like loves. Is it Jiming?
No, she loves Jin.
Oh, Jin.
She
Right.
loves
Right.
Jin.
Jin's broad shoulders. Hashtag.
She
right.
loves hashtag Jin's
Right.
broad shoulders.
I might just have to sit in the corner next week and watch Brooke do her thing.
Yeah, we'll have.
Oh wait, is she gonna be back from Tokyo?
She will.
She
In
will,
fact, she
okay.
gets back. She leaves Japan the day BTS's album comes out, and she was literally looking up to see if Tokyo or
Oh
sorry,
right, she comes back
if-
like the 18th
yeah,
or something.
and the
yeah.
album comes, and she'll have
Yeah.
the time difference.
Right,
But she was
right.
literally looking up to see if Tower Records would be open at midnight,
Oh,
so
that's
she could buy it
hilarious.
physically in Japan and
That
bring
is
it back. But I was like,
hilarious.
Brooke, you are truly a fan. I
Yeah.
love it.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see what happens. I just, I'm really excited for what's next with BTS.
Yeah, and
There's
mean,
some exciting
I
things
have
afoot.
not seen
It is.
such an intricate teaser rollout in like
Oh.
ever. Like, yo, they've been teasing this for like fucking like 3 weeks.
Right. I mean, I've done the quote unquote the complete guide to
Right,
BTS's
right. Very
comeback on
thorough.
Fuse.tv, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this article is too long.
Yeah.
Like I've just been like, wow, like there's
It's like
a
you
lot.
got the L concept photos, the O,
The
the
O.
V, the E. Every letter has a different styling
Uh-huh.
attached to it. The preview song, what's it called? Love Yourself? No, that's
Serendipity.
Serendipity. Like, what? Yeah, that song's dope. It's like that was like a full production, like a full 2.5 minute production.
Oh yeah,
It was
done by
fantastic.
Rap Monster, I think.
Isn't Jiming the singer?
Sorry, written and produced by.
Oh,
Rap
okay,
Monster.
okay.
And then right, sorry.
I was like,
But
that was
clearly-
not Rap Monster.
Rap Monster looked great. Love his new blonde hair. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like it's almost par for the course for BTS at this point. Those intricate teasers. I think it's definitely K-pop heightened. Everyone's stepped up their game, and they're also stepping up their game. So it's really, really exciting. There are some exciting things
I'm
coming,
excited.
and
I like that it's not too many tracks either. It's like, what, 9 tracks?
I know. I think they're technically calling this an EP. I was like,
Oh my God.
like
Please.
Taeyang called White Knight a full album with like 8 tracks.
Right, yeah.
But I was like,
And there's that potential for the secret track or something.
oh, there's at least I heard there's 2 hidden tracks.
Hidden tracks, yes.
So we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, that's an album.
It's an album.
That's an album.
Yeah, no, I'm
But
really,
all their
really-
albums, now that I think about it, all their previous albums had a decent number of tracks too. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just the BTS standard. But yeah, very excited. I mean, essentially, if fans are wondering how to make the biggest impact possible, it's certainly, if you have the means, buy the album,
Mhm.
buy the single even. I think, it'd be so cool if they charted a single. If anything, the single can, stream the music video as much as possible, stream the album as much as possible. It's going to be a busy week for BTS fans, but I think that the impact will be. I think you're going to get a lot of casual interest in addition
Mhm.
to those hardcore fans.
Well, they would have to. Their outreach virally is so huge that Halsey's gonna tweet something.
Oh,
The Chainsmokers, they're gonna tweet something.
that's a good point. I didn't even think about their celebrity
Yeah.
friends, because they took a photo with like everyone at the
Yeah,
Billboard
yeah,
Music
yeah.
Awards. I'm sure like Logan Paul, who's like a
Yeah.
viral person, and Camila and all these, Camila Cabello.
Oh
and,
right, yeah.
they were just with everyone. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know
Ooh,
if
teenage-
Camila will do anything. She was confused. There were remember she was like, "Oh my God, there's so many of you."
oh yeah, I was like,
I was
girl,
like, "Girl, stop acting like you don't. At least pretend you know what's happening."
yeah. Also, you had 5, they have 7. There's
Yeah,
not that
there's
many.
not that many.
I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
it's 2 more.
You can tell she was never just cut out for that group life.
I
Mm-mm.
guess not.
Guess
Not. Well, anyway, I'm very excited to see what happens. We'll, of course,
Yes.
have a really exciting episode for you guys next week. Send us your predictions, your thoughts, your reviews beforehand. We really want to hear
Oh
them,
yeah, yeah.
obviously, about BTS.
Yeah,
and
we
all
want some comments.
before.
Yeah. Let us
Like,
know.
what do you guys think? Because we know there's a lot of BTS fans who listen.
Easiest thing to tell us is your favorite tracks, right?
Mm-hmm. Tell us your favorite tracks, but also what are your hopes? What are your goals?
Yeah.
What
Do you think this album how it stacked up against their previous albums? Let us know.
Give us. We want to have. We'll obviously review it, but we want to have a deeper discussion. Get those
Yes.
those fans who might be new to BTS, let's give them a really good show.
But the window is very small because it comes out Monday, right?
We record Tuesday.
And we record Tuesday. So
hurry.
By Tuesday early afternoon, let us know.
Yes, please.
Hashtag K-Stop.
Hashtag K-Stop. Well, that's about everything for us, though.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys. Yes, as always, listening. Vote. Tell us your thoughts. Everything. Hashtag K-Stop. We'll see you all next week.
See you next week for a huge episode.
Yes. All right. As always, this has been Jeff.
And this is Tina.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.